What's up, guys? John Claymore here, /Gear issue 33, and we are reviewing top 10 generals of all time according to math. Now, guys, first and foremost, this list right here, in my opinion, was made mostly for fun, but I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some debate in the comment section. I would be recording this with a camera on my face right now, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I'll probably just go get a webcam when I get a little bit more money. So until that there happens, what we're going to do is we're just going to do it in this format here. And we'll try to do these at least 3 or 4 of these a week going forward to kind of see the realness of a situation and, of course, the unrealness of a situation. Now, guys, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot, and I mean a lot of names that are going to be left off this list. So with that in mind, let's try to have a little bit of fun with this. I'm probably going to get a little bit upset myself, but I want to get you guys comments and get you guys thoughts in the comment section on this list and the actual placing of the actual generals in this list as a whole. It's been reacted to a lot, but I'm going to go ahead and give my take on it. With that out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this. Also, something else too, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys share the video. Also, sign up in the comment section. I want to get you guys thoughts and cut on those notifications, and let's go ahead and dive into this.
Metrics to the performances of history's greatest general's ability to win battles, and he came up with a list of the 10 best generals of all time. The math is tricky, but the list is definitive. There are just a few caveats. Although an imperfect source, Arsht compiled Wikipedia data from 3,580 battles and 6,619 generals. He then compiled lists of key commanders, total forces, and, of course, the outcome. The general's forces were categorized and his numerical advantage or disadvantage weighted to reflect tactical ability. The real power is ranking the general's war score, or wins above replacement. The more battles the commander fought and won, the more opportunities to raise their scores. But fighting fewer battles didn't necessarily help. There were some surprises in the model, like the apparent failures of generals like Robert E. Lee. For more modern generals like Patton, who didn't make the top 10, the relatively small number of battles commanded attributed to their absence. For more about Arsht's results, responses to criticism, and his findings, check out our website in the link below. Remember, this list has nothing to do with overall strategy, and it's all in good fun, so just take it easy, internet trolls. Okay, let's get started. Number 10, Alexander the Great.
Really quick, guys, there is going to be some interruption after every single general. Of course, if I don't really know that general or that familiar with them, please, if you have an understanding better than mine, please leave it in the comment section. But right off the bat, we've already got ourselves a bit of a doozy here. Let's go ahead and roll this.
Alexander was born in 356 BCE, and he would go on to create one of the largest empires in the ancient world. He earned his first victory in battle at the age of 16 and became the king of Macedonia at the age of 20. Alexander was a great strategist. In fact, he won every battle that he himself commanded. But since his life was cut short and he had only 9 battles from which to draw data, it leaves the model very little to work with. Still, the conqueror of the known world is ranked much higher than other leaders with similar numbers, including the Japanese shogun Tokugawa, German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, and Confederate General J.E.B. Stuart. It should be noted that Alexander's per-battle war average is higher than anyone else's on this list.
Okay, right off the bat, you know there's a massive contradiction because they're using war wins above replace, which, by the way, is a baseball metric, which I'm a little bit familiar with because I'm also into sports too, especially baseball. Now, here's the thing. Yes, it's only 9 real battles, but look at the campaigns that Alexander had. Also, something else too. Taking 40,000 Macedonians against 250,000 Persians in the Battle of Gaugamela. That right there has got to be one of the most impressive military feats today, and our military, especially our officers, study Alexander the Great's tactics all the time. So, yeah, we got ourselves a bit of a, how do I say, a turd ranking here, but let's keep going.
Number 9, Georgy Zhukov.
Wow, Zhukov, and you've got more. Okay, let's just roll it.
Konstantinovich Zhukov is perhaps the most acclaimed Soviet commander from World War II. His victory at the Battle of Kursk, the largest tank battle in history, is remembered as the turning point in the war against the Germans, and his assault against Berlin in 1945 hastened the end of the war. Zhukov has only 1 more battle than Alexander, and his overall score barely squeaks by the Macedonian. Interestingly enough, his score is far, far above that of General Douglas MacArthur or Confederate Generals Jubal Early and John Bell Hood. That's what overcoming the odds does for your war score.
Okay, right off the bat, You've got, I think it's Suvanov, I think that's his name, another Russian general who was actually better than Zhukov. There's also, I would actually argue that Vasily Chuikov was actually a better general. Also, nothing else too. This is just my personal opinion. You can disagree in the comment section. As a matter of fact, I actually prefer you guys do. I mean, get some actual good discord and get nice little debate here, especially going to the next video. The turning point in World War II, in my opinion, my personal opinion, was actually Stalingrad. The stupidity of Adolf Hitler during Stalingrad and Friedrich Paulus. Now, the thing that really gets me here is that, and I probably should have set a personal criteria, but me personally, when it comes to ranking generals, I don't just look at battles won. I'm also looking at the amount of men, materials spent trying to get that objective. Chances are on the Eastern Front in World War II, if you look at the actual battlefield statistics, the Russians lost heavier amounts of men because they were mostly just throwing bodies at the Germans. Now, in Kursk is a great example. In Kursk, von Manstein lost one of his pincers before the actual true fight itself even started. And the Germans still put up a very, very good fight, damn near winning that battle, even with only like half of its actual troops going into that fight. And one more thing, too. They were pressing the issue, or von Manstein was, to try to take Zhukov out. But the problem was that Hitler pulled the Tigers. He wanted him back out, for the Battle of Sicily or the actual invasion of Italy. Either way, it ended up being fruitless in the end in Italy. And I'm kind of sitting here looking at this saying, why don't I just leave them there right where they are? It might buy you some time going forward. We may do more videos in the future on that actual topic, especially when we start diving into military history. Or I may even create a military history channel just for that right there. Let's keep this going, guys.
Number 8. Frederick the Great. Frederick II ruled Prussia, a powerful kingdom within the Germanic Empire during the 18th century. His military prowess expanded Prussian lands, and his political influence brought Prussia to the front of European affairs. Ruling for more than 40 years and commanding troops in some 14 battles across Europe earned the enlightened Prussian ruler the number 8 spot on this list. His per-battle average was also lower than Alexander's, but on the whole, he was just a better tactician.
Okay, tactics supposedly and strategy does not work, and he's got a lower overall score than Alexander, but yet he's ranked 8th. Also, let's talk about Frederick the Great. Nobody's denying Frederick the Great's leadership. Nobody's denying how great he was. But during the 7 Years' War, and correct me if I'm wrong, he started a fight, I think, with France and Austria itself. Okay, and they eventually beat him back, and he was also fighting Russia too. However, in the case of Russia, I want to say it was Elizabeth passed away, and her son, Peter III, ended up becoming the Tsar of Russia. The Tsar, for whatever reason, because he was a Frederick the Great superfan, he chose to basically switch sides and get on Frederick's side. So he really got lucky in a lot of ways after stirring up a hornet's nest. So I'm not so sure that Frederick the Great should be top 10. Great general, yes, but I'm not so sure he should be in the top 10.
Number 7. Ulysses S. Grant. Ulysses S. Grant led the Union Army to victory during the American Civil War and went on to serve as President of the United States from 1869 to 1877. Grant's performance commanding Union troops in 16 battles earned him the 7th spot on this list, as well as the U.S. presidency. Although his performance on the battlefield is clearly much better than those of his contemporaries, it should be noted that his Civil War arch-rival, Robert E. Lee, is so far below him on the list that he actually has a negative score. Number 6.
That right there is an actual honest-to-God travesty. First of all, Ulysses S. Grant, and you obviously can tell in my voice that I'm obviously a Southerner, but I'm not saying this because of my Southern pride or anything. It's just battlefield stats, common sense. General Robert E. Lee was a way better general than Grant. Grant took over an army with a massive amount of men in the Overland Campaign, and like Zhukov, he basically just threw bodies at the problem. All you got to do is take a look at Spotsylvania and take a look at Cold Harbor to see that. Also, the Vicksburg Campaign, once again, just throwing bodies at the problem. Grant got a lot of his men killed, and the actual body count is much, much higher as far as losses is concerned for Ulysses S. Grant. The fact of the matter is that the Confederacy ultimately lost the Civil War because they really didn't have a chance to begin with. I may do videos on that right there in the future. Now, am I glad that the Civil War was won by the Union, even though I'm a Southerner? Of course I am, because obviously slavery is something that we should not want or be proud of. But at the same time, though, I don't think we should be beating ourselves up over the issue. I mean, the issue's dead and buried. Of course, that right there is more for my social commentary channel. You guys can go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description box. But the thing is this right here, when you actually allocate troops, it's not even close. Grant really was not that good of a general, and he wasn't even the best general in the Union Army. I would actually give that honor to George Thomas, the same general who beat the Army of Tennessee against John Bell Hood, someone who, quite frankly, had a reputation for being a good general, but once he was actually put in charge of an army, especially during the Georgia campaign, we kind of found out how much of a tool he really was. But let's go ahead and keep this rolling. Like I said, we'll probably do more videos in the future on this topic, but let's keep it going.
Hannibal Barca. Hannibal is notoriously considered one of the greatest military strategists of all time, and the greatest enemy Rome ever faced. Born in 247 BCE, he was a general of ancient Carthage, known for his conquest of Hispania, the Second Punic War, and the Roman Seleucid War. Hannibal, once captured by Scipio Africanus, is believed to have given his own ranking system to Scipio once the two started talking. His personal assessment wasn't far off from the truth. He listed Alexander the Great and himself as best, both of whom are in the top 10, even centuries later.
Guys, if you know more about Hannibal, please lay it in the comments. I know that Hannibal was a great general and a great leader. I'm not too sure where I would rank him at as far as top 10 is concerned. Like I said, I may even do a top 10 generals list on my own, because a lot of names that they're probably being neglected from here that, quite frankly, would cause a lot of outrage. But if you guys know more about Hannibal than I do, I'm not really going to comment on this one right here. Make sure you guys leave it in the comment section. Same thing with the next two generals.
5. Khalid ibn al-Walid. Al-Walid was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad and one of the Islamic Empire's most capable military commanders. His leadership united Arabia under a single leader for the first time in history. He's known for commanding the forces of the Rashidun army under Muhammad and his successors of the Rashidun Caliphate. It's rumored that he fought in over 100 conflicts and skirmishes, but he's best remembered for 14 significant battles in which he remained undefeated against the Byzantine Empire and the Sassanid Persians, and helped spread Islam to the greater Middle East. Compared to others who fought similar numbers of battles, his score eclipses even Frederick the Great. Number 4. TAKEDA SHINGEN. Being one of the best military minds in...
Once again, guys, I don't really know much about him. If you guys know more about him than I do, please leave it in the comments.
Feudal Japan is really a big deal, because almost everyone seemed to be a military mind, and being better than someone else might mean you get challenged to a duel. After 18 battles, the Tiger of Kai reigned supreme, in Japan anyway. During the 14th century, TAKEDA SHINGEN was a prominent daimyo, or feudal lord, renowned for his military prowess and aggressive tactics in battle. His domestic policies, including systems of law, taxation, and administration, were later incorporated into the shogunate that would unite Japan. Number 3. Arthur Wellesley, 1st Duke of Wellington. Though he would become Prime Minister, Wellesley is best known for his military accolades. It's a pretty big deal to be the guy who delivered a solid defeat to the man they called Master of Europe. Napoleon's old nemesis, the Duke of Wellington commanded famous victories during the Napoleonic Wars, including the defeat of Bonaparte at Waterloo. Like TAKEDA SHINGEN, his nearest challenger on this list, the Duke saw command of 18 battles, but his war score is considerably higher.
Okay, really quick. Considerably higher, but not as high as Alexander the Great. Like I said, this list doesn't really make a lot of sense. Also, something else too about the Duke of Wellington. And by the way, nobody is saying that the Duke of Wellington was not a good general. But the problem is this right here. The Duke of Wellington faced Napoleon, I think, in Salamanca in the Spanish campaign and also in Waterloo. The British has been a good portion of the Napoleonic Wars already getting beaten. So maybe if he adjusted, of course, what we saw, we already know this right here. I just have kind of a hard time with him being ranked that high, especially at number 3. But once again, though, guys, if you guys know a little bit more, if you guys can educate me a little more on this right, please leave it in the comments.
Number 2. Julius Caesar. Before he declared himself dictator for life and found himself infamously murdered by all of his friends, Julius Caesar expanded the Roman Republic through conquests across modern Europe. Caesar didn't have command in as many battles as Shingen or the Duke of Wellington, but his war score reflects a lot more risk and shrewdness in his battlefield tactics.
Okay, the truth is this right about the Romans. The Romans, for the most part, especially in that time frame of Julius Caesar, they were, for the most part, very good tactically. And it does not surprise me that he's ranked at number 2. I don't agree with it, but I'm not surprised that they went that high. I think a lot of these leaders are being ranked as high as they are, not much for the battlefield. They say it's war, but, you know, I don't think that's the case. I think they're really doing it for contributions more or less anything else. I mean, look at Grant. He was former president. Look at, I mean, a lot of these people here, they even focused on politics, I think, with number 4. But well, let's go ahead and get this last pick.
Caesar couldn't top Alexander's per-battle war average. Number 1, Napoleon Bonaparte. Yes, you might have guessed by now, but the #1 spot belongs to l'Empereur. Napoleon is so far ahead of the normal distribution curve created by the data for these 6,000 plus generals, it's not even close. After 43 battles, he has a war score of more than 16, which blows the competition away. There could be no question. The man responsible for conquering an enormous expanse of Europe during the 19th century is the greatest tactical general of all time, and the math proves it.
Wait a minute. Tactics goes with strategy. Now, guys, really quick. I'm not surprised by Napoleon being #1 on this list. I'm really not surprised by it at all. But when I think of Napoleon, I think about all the victories, and then I think about one very humiliating defeat, and then I think about the Russian campaign, which, by the way, is just complete stupidity. I may even do videos on Operation Barbarossa versus the Grand Armée, 1812. But this is what I think about. I also think about the disaster at Leipzig. Now, guys, if you know more about Napoleon, and if you think he's the greatest of all time, please leave it in the comment section. I mean, definitely Napoleon is a great general. Like I said, I'm not surprised with him being #1, but at the same time, though, I'm kind of like, yeah, where's Patton at on the list? Where's MacArthur? Where's Rommel? How about Heinz Guderian? Erich von Manstein was a great general. You had several generals. I think his name was Sassoonova. I think I might be butchering his name. I might go. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and edit. I think I already edited his face in the actual video itself. But I'm a little bit baffled by some of the generals they did not choose. Robert E. Lee, definitely. I mean, Stonewall Jackson. Where the hell was he at? Jeb Stuart, I could kind of see why he was not in the top 10, but at the same time, there's a lot of names that just were left off. With that rather being said, guys, leave your comments in the comment section. Let's get something going here. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps the video out, helps the channel out. Also, hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and get this thing all the way up to like 500 likes. We can get this thing up to like 20 or 30,000 views. Make sure you guys cut those notifications on. Share these videos. Pass them around with your friends. Pass them around with your military buddies, especially fellow veterans. Let's get ourselves a nice conversation here going. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that right there. I will be doing a video on top 10 most invadable nations in the world here soon. I'll probably be doing some videos on infographics too, and some of the things they have. They have some pretty interesting stuff as well. And I'll be getting a webcam here soon, so that way I can do it in the much more conventional ways. Once again, guys, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.
Months in here. You like watching people get fucked for free? Watch me fuck Mark Kerr for free. I'm gonna put these hands right around his face, and I'm gonna fuck him.